Welcome back to Grow Like a Mother. I am Jill, and today I have Jess with me. She is a devoted mom who's balancing the joys of raising a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old alongside her corporate 9 to 5 grind. Anyone else feel familiar, right? Been there. But 2 years ago, she took the leap into the world of network marketing, igniting her passion for personal development and empowering her family's dreams. Through her journey, Jess has cultivated a thriving community of over 50 moms championing health and wellness. She's a creative force behind Mom Life Unfiltered, a brain dump journal, which launches this month in April, and it offers a raw and relatable outlet for mothers everywhere. By sharing her authentic motherhood experiences, Jess has transformed her social media platform into a supportive haven where moms can truly feel seen and heard. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Now
actually taking my podcast virginity, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I hope it's an experience for you.
let's see.
That's so awesome. Well, I'm so honored to have you here, your very first podcast. I am so curious to know your journey, but also what you have going on right now with the journal. So, I mean, maybe we can start. Can you take us back to maybe where this idea started, where you wanted to be in the supporting mom space?
Sure, for sure. So it comes down to like when Griffin was, so my 3-year-old, he was 11 months old, and it was pandemic when I had him. The pandemic started and I was 7 months pregnant. So the whole world shut down. And then even when he was 11 months, it was still pandemic, still stuck at home. And obviously I think a lot of us can relate that like we were robbed from like the regular experience of having mat leave and being able to leave your house and whatnot. And it wasn't until one day I had racked up a lot of my credit card. I was shopping online like it was my job, and I was feeling stuck and not open, and like I wasn't feeling comfortable to open up to my husband about what was really happening in my mind. And I was like, what is going on with me? I don't feel like myself. I'm struggling. And my mom came over and I was like, Mom, I need help and I don't know where to go. And she was the first one to say, like, reach out to your EAP from work. That's like the fastest you can get like a therapist or anybody to talk to, because pandemic, the wait lists were nuts for this. And so reached out and I got help. And I first started with therapy, but I had been watching some women on social media prioritizing themselves and like working out and eating well and doing all the things. And like they had such contagious smiles. And I was like, how? Like I'm in my house right now and I feel like death. Like I don't feel like myself. I feel stuck. And I was like, how do they do it? Like that it doesn't seem fair. And like I was just following, like I wasn't even following them actually on Instagram. I was just creeping them from the sidelines. And I eventually reached out to one of the girls as well who I've been following, and I was like, tell me your secret because I am in need. Like I do therapy, but I'm still in a slump, right? And she invited me to join her community for like working out. And she's like, it's an online platform for working out and you do it from home, which obviously at the time was great alternative because we can leave our houses. And I started, but like I'd work out once, twice a week. Like it wasn't sticking. And it wasn't until she invited me to partner and dive into the network marketing world for this company. And at first I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. Like I do not have a social media presence like you guys do. I don't want to show my face on camera. But she's like, but you do, like you share your kids, you share your life, and like people are relating to this. And I was like, okay. And I said, let me just think about it. I sat on it for a couple months. I talked to my husband about it because I was also network marketing, MLMs. I was like, I don't want to get scammed. I think everybody thinks this. And so he looked up like the whole network marketing world, like looked up the whole documentation for this company. We looked up the comp plan. We looked at all the things. Like I was like, I don't want to say yes to this and then get screwed somehow. And he was like, just you got nothing to lose. And at the end of the day, that's what it came down to. I was like, I could do this and it can blow up in 6 months and it's not for me. Or I could do something and help other women who feel exactly like what I'm feeling right now start feeling better. And it wasn't until I said yes to partnering and jumping into the network marketing that it allowed, like it propelled my own journey. Like it made me, I had to be more accountable to myself because I feel like if I want people to join me and do this with me and start feeling better for themselves, I need to be an example. So it forced me to do it. And 2 years have gone by. My 2 year anniversary was April 2nd.
Mm,
So
happy
since
anniversary.
then, yeah, thanks. So since then, I've had 50 women plus join my community, more moms than anything else. I run a little chat on the side. We check in every day, and it's fun. But there's so many things that came out of saying yes to this opportunity. Not just I am feeling more comfortable in my body or my mental health is better. Um, the biggest things were like it introduced me to personal development because I was like, what is that?
Hmm.
What are these self-help books? I like to read like little romance by the beach books, but not like anything like The Mountain Is You and Atomic Habits and all these different personal development, the pivot year, all these things. And since then, I've just grown into such a different human being. Like I don't even recognize who I am from 2 years ago. So the personal development, the confidence, and then um, to dream.
Mm.
Who would have thought that little old me in Stittsville, Ontario, a mom of two who has a corporate job and like nothing else going for me, but like I'm no massive influencer. I don't have a huge following. I don't and to release a journal and to write a journal for people like moms like me who could use this, like it just blows my mind that it's even a thing.
Right? When you trust and follow your dream or take a bet on yourself. And I mean, the interesting thing is you're telling this story that I'm like, I hear this so often. Why do we do this? Is that the thing that it sounds like you were struggling a little bit with, do I do this? Do I not? But when you realized how many women you could help, that gave you the permission almost, right? Like, oh, okay, this is bigger than me. And I feel
Mhm.
like that is always the story with moms, especially. They're like, I know this is good for me. I know it could help. I don't have time, money, or energy if it's just for me. But if they can view it in a way that benefits someone else, they're more likely to say yes. It's like, we need to figure out how to just do this for ourselves. And
Yep.
yes, it's always great to help other people. But
Mhm.
the thing is when we show up as ourselves, like the example you're setting for your kids and for
Yep.
your friends and for your family and how they probably now see you as different and have witnessed your change, like that's how you make impact.
The biggest thing for me is my kids, and especially like Griffin being 3, he will get upset in the morning if he's not downstairs doing a workout with me. And he'll be like, but you already did your workout. I wanted to do it with you. And then he'll be like, look, mommy, I'm doing a plank, or look, mommy, I'm doing push-ups. And that's not because I forced him to be in the basement with me. And I'm like, you're working out with me. It's just by watching me prioritize myself day in and day out. He knows what it is now, and it's like mommy's gonna go do her workout now, and he either comes with me or he goes and does something else, but like he knows that that's my time and accepts it. And uh, yeah, just watching them, and like he's just picks up my weights, and I'm like, my kids and my husband and my family are my why. They're the reason why I needed to take care of myself, because if I would have stayed where I was 2.5 years ago at this point, I'm scared to even think about where I would be today. And yeah,
Yeah. What did
yeah.
that transition look like for your specifically like within your marriage and the dynamics within the home when you started to prioritize yourself? Like, did you have the support right away? Was there like a troubled waters to navigate as you sort of said, like, I need something here?
So I think the biggest thing was the amount of time on my phone. Being in network marketing was something that strained our relationship a little bit, because he didn't understand that like I might be on Instagram right now, but I'm technically kind of working. I'm making connections. I'm having conversations with other moms. But in terms of like getting that routine in of taking an hour for myself every day, I did it at 5 a.m. So
Mm.
I did it in a time that didn't take away from my family. Um, at the time I was still on mat leave, but I knew that, and even now with Pippa, like my second, I got away from doing the 5 a.m.s, and I find a ton of excuses during the day, even when she's napping, to be like, not doing it today. So I decided it was going to be 5 a.m. and I told my husband from 5 to 6, I'm busy. So if any of the kids wake up between 5 and 6 for whatever reason, they're yours. And he accepted because and then he saw what it did as as the time went on or whatever. But yeah, I was just very open with what I needed from him, and he's always going to be somebody who's going to support me in terms of taking care of myself. But one of the big things that he was always like, are we going to indebt ourselves with this? Like,
Right.
what is this? What's going to be the money commitment for this? Like, he's the frugal one. I'm the spender, obviously. As I mentioned. But no, and then he jumped in on it. He's done a few of the programs and he's seen the benefit of it. Not as consistent, but he's got a different, more demanding job than I do. So he makes it work. But yeah.
And let's talk about that. You have your corporate 9 to 5, you
Mhm.
have 2 kids,
Mhm.
and you have your own business. Now, are you currently still on mat leave?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and how does that look different? I mean, it must be completely night and day because you have experienced doing the two together. And now
Yeah.
you're in a phase where you can just focus on the parenting and like the raising of the little human and the business. But
And
talk to me.
this answer might surprise you. I thrived way better when I was working 9 to 5 and
Huh,
balancing that than now.
interesting.
I'm very type A, and the unpredictability of having a baby and my days are never the same throws me right off.
Hmm.
Like I knew, like with Griffin when he went to preschool and I was working, it was like we wake up, we have an hour, we do our thing. I was doing my workout, then we had an hour together. I would drive into preschool, I would work my job, and I found little times in the day to work my business. It was on my lunch hour, or I took a break in the afternoon, and then I did my kid in the after school, and then I put him to bed, and that's when I worked. And that's like to me, that was the same every
The
day. And it
rhythm,
worked for me. Now, like I can put Pippa down for a nap and I can be like, okay, I can go do a workout. I go and start a workout and 30 minutes later she's up and I'm not done.
right?
And oh,
Oh,
gets
I
me.
know. I
And
feel the same way. It's amazing when you've got the pressure. And for some personalities, not for all, but for some personalities, when you've got the pressure of a time constraint, the amount you can get done is
yeah,
insane, right? And it's also that kind of same thing as if you think about like you'll find the time to do it if it's important to you, just like you would find the money if a property tax bill came in that you weren't expecting, like you would find that.
mhm.
Like you're finding the time to dedicate to the business and the personal development because it's important to you. And I love that. So well done. I love finding those pockets.
The biggest thing I hear in the conversations that I have with women who watch me and say, like, I wish I could do what you do. And I'm like, but you can. And they're like, well, no, I don't. And I'm like, well, it really comes down to how bad you want it. And sometimes it's hard to hear, but unless you really want it, it's not going to happen.
And no
And
one's going to hand it to you.
no, I'm like 3/4 through Atomic Habits right now, and it's even like it's so crazy. People are telling me like the habit they want to do is work out 5 times a week. Well, no, that's not a habit. Like that's something you're looking to achieve, but like there's little habits, like millisecond habits that you need to adopt first to even get there. So it's a great book that's gonna, I think, really help me in this. But yeah, I've found, and like I wrote a journal because I started journaling 2 years ago.
Mhm,
I laughed at the people that journaled.
mhm.
I was like, I'm not writing what I'm grateful for. People know what I'm grateful for. I'm not writing what I want to celebrate. No. But like just those little like it was life changing to write. And I wrote in my dreams in that journal, my dreams of writing my own journal. And look,
And
it's
here you are.
launching on the 22nd.
Okay, so tell me about this. Tell me about the journal. I want to know what the inspiration was and what it's all about.
So it's called Mom Life Unfiltered, a brain dump journal. And when I started journaling 2 years ago, it was all the journals that I was using were gratitude central. Like it was just, what are you grateful for? What are you celebrating for yourself? What are your dreams? Affirmations, and all that is good. But as a busy mom of two, with a job, with a business, with a house to run, and like as moms, we're the CEO, the janitor, the CO, the CFO, the whole shebang. My mind is going 100 miles an hour when I'm journaling. And so I couldn't just focus on what I was grateful for. And that might be something I need to practice on my own in terms of like meditating and kind of just like centering myself. But I had all these to-do things in my head going through. I was like, okay, I'm grateful for this, but oh yeah, don't forget Griffin's got to go and he has a doctor's appointment at 10 a.m. And then all these things. So I've incorporated both because I do believe gratitude is extremely important. And like the millionaires of millionaires of millionaires are all journaling. And that's what I've learned through like the last 2 years. It's like the highest of highest earners and the people that are so successful, they all journal. And so I truly believe it's something that's important for you to adapt every day. But I'm conscious of the season of life I'm currently in. And so at the beginning, it's like, what are you grateful for? And then there's like, what is something that you're going to do for you and you only today, not your spouse, not your kids. And then there's a brain dump section because sometimes I wake up and so much is going through my mind. There's something that I need to get off my chest, but it doesn't fit in it. I'm not grateful for it. I'm not celebrating it. I just need to get it off my chest. So it's like just like a box where people can just go in, or women, moms can just go and dump it all out. And then there's a to-do list where you keep it down to 5 things for that day. So write out what you need to do for that day. And there's a section which you're cooking. Because like I said, we wear all the hats and we're normally the ones that are deciding what's for dinner. Or if you're hosting or whatever, or what do you want to put in your kids' lunches, whatever you want, it goes in that section. And then every 10 days, I put in a mindset check-in.
Mm.
So no bullshit. Where are you? Because it doesn't matter if you're going to journal for 10 days. Doesn't mean because you're journaling for 10 days that you're feeling fantastic. But if you are feeling fantastic, scream it from the rooftop. But if you're not feeling great, also scream it from the rooftop and write it all out. Just kind of like a pulse check. And then on Sundays, and this all came from a focus group that I did too, that I'm going to touch on quickly, but on Sundays, there's a weekly plan. So originally the layout of my journal had every day, what's on your kids' what's on your kids' schedule, what's on your family commitments, all these things. It was a lot for like a 1-day entry, which came out of my focus group. So I created just a 1-day, like just 1 page per day, very simple. And then on Sundays, it's more of like your weekly plan. So what's coming up this week for your family, all the commitments, write them all in because it's all separated by day. And you can refer back to that during the week. So it's more of like it's like a planner journal, I guess, for like busy moms is what I
All
would.
in one.
Yeah, all in one.
I love it. That's so
Yeah,
smart.
yeah.
What was the process of trying to figure out how to bring that into like physical form, like for you? Like,
So I'm not gonna lie, I like slightly panicked because I announced I was doing this on social before I had even created it on Amazon. And then I was like, Jessica, what did you do? Because what if you can't figure this out? Like
mm-hmm.
you just told people to expect this and you haven't even put it in. So maybe that was like not a good idea. In the future, maybe for version 2, not announce it until I can get it figured out. But no, it was late nights in bed with my laptop, working on the layout, teaching myself, going through YouTube videos on how to create a journal on Amazon. I got stumped when you had to upload your cover and it had
Mm.
to be, the front and the back had to be on 1 page. And I was
Oh.
like, what the fuck? I'm like, how am I gonna do this? I was like, what? I'm like, it's on Canva because I used Canva to create the journal, and then you download it into PDF print for Amazon. But I was like, my front and my back on Canva are not together. And then you work with the margins. Anyways, I taught myself how to do it. I didn't even get any help. I did this by myself, like a big girl. And so I ordered my first proof. I got it last week, which was a really good thing to do because the back didn't print properly. I needed to fix the margins. So then I fixed all that. I found 2 typos, even though I looked it over and over and over again, because every page has a different mom quote. And
Mm.
every pulse check page has a little text like supporting moms, like something to uplift you as a mom, but they're all different. So it's not like every page is similar. So I had to go through every page to make sure I didn't have any typos, and I found some. So I fixed those. But my next proof comes tomorrow. And then I have a photo shoot for it next week, which I'm
Mm.
excited about. And then, yeah, officially launch on the 22nd, which is my 32nd birthday.
Well, that is going to be the best day.
I'm so
I will be celebrating with you.
excited.
So fun.
Yeah.
Congratulations. What a big accomplishment. I mean, it's going to help so many people. And just, I'm sure the sense of accomplishment that you have from going through this, from idea, like, first of all, doing the work understanding what personal development is, why it's important, figuring out what you love in a journal, figuring out how to do the journal, getting it in front of the people, like, well done. That's a big, I've
Yeah.
written a book too, and I know what a big thing it is to figure it out in like, first you have to create it, then you have to figure out how to get it in the world. And that's a whole other learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like I said, like 2 years ago, I did not have the confidence to do this. I did not have like, and I still 2 years later suffer from like imposter syndrome after like I was holding it and physically when I got my proof last week and I was like, who do I think I am? Like I'm writing a journal, like people are not going to need this. Who do I think I am? And but I'm like, no. And like it's so easy to fall into that. And no, I'm just freaking proud. And I'm just gonna scream it from the rooftop. I'm gonna celebrate myself. And I'm excited to get it into hands of other moms and see. So my focus group was so good. And I'm happy I did that because I got them printed at Staples. Like I just took my draft, I printed it, I printed 21 days because if I was gonna print the 90-day journal, it was gonna cost me a and I did a poll in my stories and I said like who would be interested in trying this out for me. I picked moms that had kids different ranges because
Mm.
I didn't want it to just be like babies because if it's just babies then you may not have like after school activities or whatever like the same level of commitments. And I hand dropped them off in Ottawa at everybody's houses and we had a little chat pod for 21 days. They filled it out for 21 days. They came back with suggestions, not enough room here, not enough room there. I'm like struggling with the flow here. It was perfect. It's exactly what I needed to like just perfect it. And then their compensation for their time was they're going to get one of my copies once I launch on the 22nd.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where can people find it? Is Amazon the place to
I mean,
go
Amazon,
to
yeah.
grab it?
Yeah, and they can follow me on Instagram where you'll know all about the launch. And I do have a mailing list right now going where I'm going to be sending out emails next week with just like more details on it and like a little sneak peek as to what to expect and what it's going to look like inside just to get the hype going. And yeah, it's going to be, I wanted just before Mother's Day. It's going to be the perfect Mother's Day
It's
gift.
perfect timing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh gosh. Well, I'm excited to check it out. I'm definitely going to get myself a copy. And I just thank you so much for taking the time to come on today and share your story and tell us about this creation. I think you're right. It's going to help a lot of moms. And thank you for the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. I honestly, I appreciate it. And I was so excited when I had this opportunity to come on and I can't wait to, I can't wait for April 22nd and see where we're going. And I really appreciate the time and the
Yeah.
conversation we just had.
Absolutely. And for all the listeners, we'll make sure that all of the show in the show notes, we have the links so you can get the journal for yourself and check Jess out on Instagram. It's very likely that this episode will be posted live after the journal's already out. So make sure you go on, grab yourself a copy, and leave her a review because those are so important.
Mm.
And yeah, just thanks again.
Thanks so much.